Okay, we are now at reports. L1, in-person instructional delivery update, and I believe that is Dr. Hanson.
Well, good evening, everyone. As you know, we want to talk about our in-person instructional delivery update tonight. So at tonight's meeting, I'm going to share updates on the COVID-19 statistics. We've had some updates in the California school reopening guidance from the California Department of Public Health. And I'm going to talk about everything in a little bit more detail about our plans to transition to phase 3, which is reopening for elementary school students. So just a little bit about the COVID rates, just to review that the COVID rate system in the state and I think throughout the nation is divided into different tiers. And it shows you what a county needs to meet in order to be considered in a certain tier. And they need to have those rates for 2 weeks. All right. So once you reach it, you have to stay in that for 2 weeks to be considered in that tier. So I'm happy to report that our currently Orange County is in the red tier, which is substantial, but our rates are actually in the orange. We reached the orange, so we need to stay there for 2 weeks, which we anticipate will happen around April 7th. We think it'll happen April 7th. So our adjusted daily case rate per 100,000 is 3.5, and our test positivity rate is 2.1. So it's looking really good here in Orange County. As well, we only have one current case in Ocean View right now. So if you look just 2 months ago, we had 29 cases when we had that big surge. So you can see things are really changing for us. So I want to talk about the updated California school reopening guidance. So recently, the California Department of Public Health updated their guidance to align with the Center for Disease Control in regards to the 3 feet physical distancing requirements. And that is for the distancing between students in a classroom needs to be a minimum of 3 feet. Between the student and teacher still needs to be 6 feet. This guidance also talks about layers of mitigation strategies are important to have in place to decrease the risk of in-school transmission. And in Ocean View, we continue to operate with those strong layers of mitigation, like face coverings, stable groups, physical distancing, hand hygiene. But another thing that's in the new guidance, or updated guidance rather, is some issues around masks. Now, I'm very proud of the Ocean View School District because all along we have had stringent mask wearing protocols. But there is just one change in the guidance, and that is students and staff with medical exemptions must wear a shield with a drape. So we only have a handful of student and staff like that, and our administrators are working with those families to inform them of those changes. You know, there are exemptions for students with disabilities, those students in our special education program. So this is more dealing with students with a medical exemption like asthma. So we will work with those families. But because we have such strong mitigation factors in place right now, there is not a lot to update in our plan because we have all of the things in there that we need to have in there. So we do have this instructional delivery and protection plan. You'll recall that we had something similar when we first opened school. We called it the reopening plan. Well, we changed the name because, you know, we're already open. We're not reopening. So as we prepare for this transition, we've updated the safety guidance to adhere to the most recent guidance. And this instructional delivery and protection plan will be available on our website beginning tomorrow. So let's talk about OVSD returning to in-person instruction 5 days a week for our elementary students. I do want to say that we are so proud of the strong collaboration that we experience with our union leadership, our negotiations team, and our administrators and staff working together to get our elementary students back on campus each day. So we shared with our community last week that all elementary students will return to in-person learning in class 5 days a week, phasing in grade spans each week. This is a courageous move, but we believe that it provides equity and consistency of academic support for our elementary students. And we know that having students on campus each day allows teachers to better address our students' academic, social, and emotional needs of our students. Above all, it's the right thing to offer our Ocean View community. We do want you to know that the transition is in motion. But please know that there are many different nuances to making this happen at our 10 different elementary schools. So each of our schools are designed differently. There's a different layout of classrooms, different sizes of desks and furniture. So we are currently reconfiguring classrooms, moving furniture, and installing additional desk shields around the campus to make this happen. So the transition will happen in 3 phases. We'll start with transitional kindergarten and first grade on March 29th. And on April 12th, we'll transition to 2nd and 3rd grade, and April 19th, 4th and 5th grade. Because of some special nuances and room configurations at Westmont and at Golden, both of those schools will begin with all grade levels March 29th. So that's very exciting that all grade levels at elementary school will be there 5 days a week beginning March 29th at Golden and Westmont. So we wanted to just share with you the times, and I apologize that that's got a little skewed. But the time we are going to have the mandated instructional minutes. So TK and K will go from 8 to 11:45 or 8:30 to 12:15. And our older kids will go from 8 to 12:20 or 8:30 to 12:50. Now, we will begin on May 3rd, having students stay 2 days a week for lunch and an additional hour of instruction for remediation and acceleration and enrichment. So students will be divided not in cohorts, but in groups, group 1 or 2, and 1 would attend Monday and Tuesday, or 2 will attend Thursday and Friday. And it will be depend on the support that the student needs. So the principals are working to put those students in those groups, and families will be notified after spring break about what those groupings will be. So right now, we're just focused on getting the students back into the 5-day a week. So what does this mean? What's the impact? So the families of our students who will have a new teacher will be contacted by the school principal. So beginning tomorrow, the principal's reaching out to the families if they haven't done so already and talking to them about that. And we suggest that you begin preparing your student for this change. You know, the students will be with different students whom they haven't met or interacted or see in play. So it is possible that they'll make new friends and that they'll be in different classes. So the other thing is that this is an opportunity for students to learn new routines and meet new friends. Please know that we know that there'll be some transition time. We know that some students may be excited about this change and others may feel a sense of sadness or nervousness, but our teachers are prepared to help students with this transition. So we have specifically worked with our staff to ensure that we have school-based social emotional support for students transition. So what's our next step? Well, as we said, we're providing communication to all Ocean View families regarding this transition. We'll continue to communicate and reinforce those COVID-19 layers of protection and mitigation and ensure that they're followed. We'll continue to monitor and facilitate the vaccination opportunities for our staff. And we're going to continue to explore ways to increase teacher-directed instruction for middle school students. We hear you loud and clear that we need to do something similar for middle school students, and we agree. And we will continue to work with our union partners to make this happen. We also will continue to monitor state directives for school reopening in fall. It is we will be back 5 days a week for all students at the normal schedule next year. What school will actually look like then, we're not sure, but we will be back 5 days a week for everybody. So looking forward to this transition.
Thank you, Dr. Hanson. Are there any questions? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move to L2, local